What is going on? What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the debut episode of Beyond the Art podcast, with all things NBA and all that good stuff. So joining me is with my co-host, with Randy coming along, so he'll be in just shortly. With TRL, YTC, my buddy Tyler. What's good, guys?
Not much, brother.
I mean, one hell of a. I guess I say the latter half of the second half, I should say, in the NBA so far.
Yeah, man.
Oh, and
internet issue.
Yeah, let's get some comments here. Oh, well, don't worry, Arku. We'll talk about that's gonna be the first. Oh man.
Yeah, just slap a big fat L up there, man.
Oh, we'll talk.
That's what they are, dude.
But first thing first, before we get anything going up here, the Dallas Mavericks are right now out of the play-in tournament, and you have the team above them is the Oklahoma City Thunder, who, let's be real, been a much better team.
All right, I'm back. My audio was cutting up on me, so yeah.
Well, it's good, Taj.
What's up, fellas?
What's up?
And what's good, awesome kid. But yeah, thoughts on that for a quick minute. Dallas Mavericks out of the play-in tournament.
So I cannot stand that team, so I'm happy about it. But
no, it's hilarious in context.
So I said before they traded for Kyrie that I did think they needed to get Luka some help, which, to be honest, I thought the Kyrie trade was sort of questionable just because they traded away Dinwiddie and Finney-Smith, two of their best defenders in their starting lineup, and basically they were taking a high risk because Kyrie Irving is a free agent in the offseason. So basically it was championship or bust for them. And I guess when people say Kyrie's a cancer for a team, at least, I mean, right now it's proving, but I feel like people hate on Kyrie too much, and I feel like Luka's kind of the problem as well.
Yeah, and that's a good point too. And a lot of times too, it's just like you have, like I said, and Dinwiddie too, not just our best defender, he was one of their better bench guys. If you think about it, he was actually averaging 10 plus, 15 plus coming off the bench for them, or was he in the start?
When you account for the Kyrie trade, they traded away half of their defense, which included guys like him and Dorian Finney-Smith and a bunch of other guys, just to give up just for one man, which didn't improve their team because we both know that they're both ball hoggers. Both of them want the ball, like they want to have to take the foul shot. It's Luka and gets two personalities that want to be the guy for their team. It doesn't work out. There's no chemistry. Obviously, it shows because of their record when they played together, way below 500 for sure.
Yeah, I have to agree there. Losing guys like Dorian Finney-Smith and Dinwiddie, you lose defenders, and you have a guy with a huge ego, and then you have another guy with a huge ego. They're both wanting the ball.
What up, Randy?
They're both fighting for touches with this ball. And it's hurting them. It's hurting them, and they don't have the team around them to even do anything. You have Kyrie, Luka, and then what?
I mean, outside of that, pretty much nobody.
Exactly. So you really don't have anybody. So
if you look at the West, look how competitive it is. I know it's easier to say in hindsight, they probably should have, just to get an edge. But looking at the West right now, how competitive and how
it's been very competitive for most of the year.
You want to have a defense. That's the best thing you can have around a team around and a good coach. That's how it would be in a close division like that.
I mean, think about it too. And look at the first six right now. You have the Denver Nuggets, the Memphis Grizzlies, the Sacramento Kings. That's a shocker for me. Was the Sacramento Kings. Talk about being
Sacramento was definitely one of the biggest surprises. But look at the teams like Phoenix and after like to the 10th seed. Look how close.
Look at the Oklahoma City Thunder. Like they're one game under 500.
It is.
So I actually looked up something on my PC just now. So the Mavericks, when Kyrie and Luka.
What's good, Jonas?
What's up, Jonas? When Kyrie and Luka both play together, the Mavs are 3-7. When it's just Kyrie playing without Luka, they're 3-1. And when Luka's the only one playing, they're 2-3. So
that is surprising.
That's
That is
telling.
very,
That is telling right there. That's telling.
and that
The only time they're above 500 is when it's just Kyrie playing and not. So,
What's up, awesome kid?
what up, Randy?
I guess one's more of a ball
Boys.
hugger than the other, but yeah, two personalities
So
like
Randy,
that
thoughts?
can
So,
coexist.
So Randy, let me get your thoughts on the Mavericks right now, out of the as it looks like right now, out of the play-in tournament.
Yeah, man. Last week on the Pick and Roll podcast with Mitch and Jeff, I got scolded when I said that my hot take was the Mavs weren't going to make the playoffs this year, and they're like, no. How dare you say that? You're losing your mind, man. This Canadian guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Well, hindsight, fast forward less than a week. Look who's right, y'all.
And think about this too. You lost to a shitty Hornets team twice in the regular season. How does that fucking happen with Kyrie? Luka,
Yeah.
I think was out. Was one of those games.
I know, and then you have Dwight Powell and Christian.
And
And
Luka-
Powell stinks.
Luka dropped 40 the other day.
And he's, I don't know with that. Yeah, Urku, man, I get you. But speaking with Luka, though, I actually thought about this before the show. Should Luka ask out for a trade from the Dallas Mavericks? Because I feel the Mavericks are not doing nothing for him. I really don't think.
At this point, he might as well because he's clearly never going to be the number one over there.
I mean, he can ask for a trade, but he's not going to get it. He's there for 5 more
They're
years.
going to favor Luka more over because he's probably more younger. That's
He's
why.
not going to get it.
Yeah. Cuban's going to hold on to that unicorn as long as he possibly can.
Yeah, he's not getting it traded.
Yeah.
I mean, good. I mean,
No,
right.
Luka's the face of their brand. They're not trading him.
Unless
Only
there's like
Kyrie.
unless there's a team that offers them something that they cannot say no to, then he's not getting.
Nah, that's a good point.
So.
Yeah.
And it would
it's-
be a trade to the East, back to the East, because there's no way they're trading within the conference.
No,
Without
that'd be-
rivals.
But yeah, it's like, I mean, was it like? I mean, you went to was it like last year they made the Western Conference Finals, and it's a complete 180 for them. I don't know what the, but then again, that kind of proves back to YTC's and TRL's point. Like they also had Finney Smith, who was a really good defender and a really good shooter, so you got a good two-way player there, and same with Spencer Dinwiddie, who's been okay, I should say, for the Brooklyn Nets. We'll talk about the Brooklyn.
Look at them.
So the Nets. So after the Kyrie trade, the Nets have a better record than the Mavericks have as well. So
Yeah.
And that should tell you, like,
Yeah,
You
just
mean
with
the-
Cameron Johnson and Brooklyn
Cam-
Bridges. That's it.
they,
Brooklyn Bridges.
yeah, and it's funny because it's like I'm kind of because it's funny. I've said I think I haven't really said this on stream, but I said this. I actually had Brooklyn dead in the water. I think they're going to take a huge step back. I mean, despite of what, but I mean the fact that they're this fifth seat or six. So right now the Virgin the play-in, that's not looking good so far though. But I mean. But like I said, look at the Western Conference. Though, I mean, and look at the Oklahoma City Thunder. Yeah, they may not have flashy pieces on paper, but they know how to sure get shit done when you really need it. I mean, look, they're 37-38. They're 6-4 in their last 10 games, even though right now on a 1-game winning streak. But they're 13.5 back. Out of the division, but that's really not. But they're still 2 games out of taking that number 6 spot from the Golden State Warriors. So, with the Oklahoma City Thunder, thought about how bright's their future? Because I mean, they got draft picks for fucking days for the next 5-10 years. If one guy does pan out, there's always
And plus, you forgot one more guy, Chet
They
Holmgren.
They
That's
got all
also
that.
cool.
They got
They're
all
doing
that.
this without Chet Holmgren, so
They
who
got
knows
all that.
how this is gonna look once he comes back.
So they have all those. They have all that cap space too, and the Clippers.
Yes.
I think if the more the Clippers suck, I think the higher. Yeah, the more they suck, I think they have a higher chance of getting a higher draft pick because they have the Clippers for
oh, that's right. I think that's from the Paul George trade, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they gave
Yeah.
up.
Shit, dude, Arku, I know, man. I know you must be happy with Sam Presti pulling off shit like that. Because it's like if you think about it, like you said, they're not doing well with Sean Holmgren, but when he comes back, you got.
I mean, he's gonna put some muscle because He was lean as
Wait.
hell before he started the league, so I can only imagine he's only put more.
You know, that's
muscle
gonna be
on him.
that.
So he'll be more muscular
Rob.
and be more defensive.
Yeah. What up?
2023, the OKC has the Clippers. They have their own. They have Dallas and Miami second. They have Boston second. They have their own second. They have Washington second.
Yeah.
That's just for 2023.
So many.
You go to 2024
goddamn.
and 2025, it just keeps going up. It's like,
They have-
wow.
God damn.
What was it? I think they got one of ours too from the Chris Paul trade. If I'm in 2024, I think so.
I think so.
um,
But think about though. I mean, I know it's pain in the ass. I mean, you have Isaiah Joe on. Oh, Jesus Christ, what the fuck?
Josh
Like,
Giddey,
That's
I
a
mean, get
2029 second.
Dario
That's a
Saric and,
2029 second.
the homie.
Shy. They have a lot of good players.
They
over
got
there.
some pieces though, man. I mean,
Got
it's-
SGA there. They got
I mean-
SGA and OKC.
I mean, think about it, from a team that had the actually had a really good team in 2012, and obviously was terrible. But I think effective Sam Presti was doing a lot of things for the OKC Thunder. Who's to say? I think probably if they are like early round exits, hypothetically, don't be surprised if it'll be a top 5, top 6 team in the Western Conference. I'm going to put my money on that 100% because I feel like I know the Kings having a good year, even though I know they're kind of overachieving because of that's the bonus trade, but I think that there might have a reality.
I mean, if you look at Sacramento right now, they're third, so they would play the 6th seeded team, and that's Golden State right now.
Yeah.
And if that were to happen, I would pick.
If
Golden
they were to
State.
upset a well-experienced Golden State team,
I would pick
definitely kudos to them.
Yeah,
And
that's
I just want to point out how close the play-in tournament is. So every single team from 7th seed to 10th seed all have 37 wins.
except for Minnesota's got 38, so it's going to be down to a game or less in the play-in.
Yeah, so every team in the play-in or almost all of them has 37 wins.
So right now, the only 2 teams that are officially out of the play-in is the Spurs and the Rockets. I mean, it's kind of
As
surprising.
expected.
Rockets. Jesus Christ.
We
So, I
played them
mean,
today as well as this
but-
recording began.
They got draft picks too, so we'll see what they do.
So it depends who wants Wemby more than any. Like who's it's
And
going
the
to be
Spurs are rebuilding, obviously. So yeah,
they need to fire their coach though, that's for sure.
what Spurs or the Rockets?
Rockets.
And speaking
Silas.
of,
two
Yeah.
rebuilding teams.
Yeah. and shout out for Randy for this NBA rumor that he shared in the group chat. Ime Udoka is interested in the Toronto Raptors and the Houston Rockets. So that's very
it basically in the report there. It basically states that Ime wants back in the league, and the Raptors are kind of done. Sort of say the fans are with Nick Nurse. So there's rumors that the Rockets are interested in either Ime or Nick Nurse. So if Nick Nurse became available, the Rockets would swipe him up, and that the Raptors would
I
swipe
think
up
Nick
Ime.
Nurse is not even that terrible of a
I
head
don't-
coach, though.
I don't think the Raptors would sweep up Ime though, because our GM has proven it in the past that whenever there's some, let's call it noise associated with something, he gets rid of it. When we had I can't remember his name, but we ended up trading him to Sacramento when he had some charges come up with the Raptors. He got traded within like 3 days, and we sent him
Hang
to
on, I'm
Sacramento
thinking.
away. So
I know who you're talking about. I can't think of his
Barnes?
freaking name.
I don't know.
no, not Barnes. It's you know what? Let me look it up.
Still there?
No, I confused him.
Yeah,
with
he's
Scotty.
still there.
Never
He's
mind.
still there. Yeah.
It's like, oh God, what the hell is his name? I'm drawing a blank on it. But yeah,
Whoever's starting in Sacramento.
I have
Oh,
no
he's
idea.
coming off the bench.
Lyles? I don't know.
I don't.
I don't know their bench
I don't
outside of Malik Monk and Lyles.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's pretty. Yeah, that's a good point.
Ask the Google machine.
Yeah. This is where you have to use Google. Like,
I don't know. Is it I
Terrence
forgot.
Davis.
Terrence Davis? Yeah, I
When
thought,
the,
yeah.
when Terrence Davis
Terrence
got hit
Davis.
with some assault charges, 3 days or 4 days later, the Raptors shipped him out. So I don't see Ime becoming a coach just because of his past. Our just rolls that way, so I doubt that'll happen. And already Nick Nurse is just like I said in the past. The Raptors just have no bench. We have a decent starting 5, but we have no bench, and
No-
that's been our Achilles heel all year.
Yeah.
yeah, and I think also too. I think honestly though, I could see he may go to the
Ime-
Rockets because Silas has
Ime
not done
on
nothing to really shown to lead that team. And if I had Dante, I mean, I know Dante would probably say the same thing.
I think he's even led them to at least 30 wins yet in the season.
I don't think he has. I just don't like his like. I know Dante better than anybody. I mean, the dude's a diehard all things Houston, and he knows it too. I think he knows it's like, you had all this some good talent, Christian Wood and stuff like that, even though who has not shown up. Oh, and I think Tyler.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about now.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just like, it's like. Now I want to ask you all this. So I mean, since Udoka, do you think, at some point, like, is Houston going to finally realize, Silas Mate needs to go? Because I mean, how long has he been there? Like, what?
3 years since D'Antoni left.
Oh, jeez, that's.
But does anybody really know why he was suspended by the team? I mean, we know that apparently.
I think it's because of like the whatever the rule. I don't know exactly what the rule was, but
you weren't allowed to date coworkers there,
or something like that. It was like some
Okay.
stupid rule or whatever it was.
He cheated on his wife with a coworker, I think.
Even though his wife is a dime already.
Oh, shit, you ain't wrong.
I'm like, how do you mess that up?
How do you fumble a bag that badly? Like, I don't
work all the time. Who knows? Maybe she makes really good. Maybe she makes really good onion rings. Who knows?
What? That's a phrase. I don't know where the
I don't know what staffer was. It somebody at the concession stand? Was it a potential trainer? Like, we don't know, right?
We don't exactly know who it was. They just say a female coworker. Like, it could be anybody. It could be a female.
All we know that this dude fumbled knee alone.
He practically fumbled a future and
he fumbled a bit.
Fumbled
fumbled the bag, bro.
Yes.
No, because he's an NBA player, so he has notoriety to get.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, that kind of comes with the territory, though.
Yeah,
but I know this kind of pissed TRL off earlier. NBA rescinds Luka Doncic's could have been his 16th technical foul that will lead to a suspension. So, TRL, take it away.
All right, I got a question. How much money did Mark Cuban have to pay the league to make that happen? That's what I want to know. And number 2, I swear, I've seen players get tentacles for the same dumb stuff like ever, and they don't ever get that thing taken back. So I mean, I'm not saying.
Like there's a certain player yeah. Sometimes you do. It does make you wonder. It's like how much leeway is the league giving to some of these players? I mean, think about it. They're giving a lot of leeway with LeBron because he thinks he can control everything. And like you said, sometimes Luka, you could also make the argument he could have a little bit of a leeway. I mean,
here's the game I want to talk about with these refs. They gave up so many free throws one of these games this past week?
I think this past week.
It was like that whole second half. They were like giving one team free throws.
It was the Lakers and Suns game. They gave LA 46.
Yeah, that was a free throw fest.
46. Yep.
And and Warriors fans want to bitch and complain about us. There's a
problem with these refs. There's a problem.
No, but Laker fans love complaining about the refs not being on their side. But
yeah,
if they were on their side that game. 46 goddamn free throws.
Ridiculous.
I will say about this though. What does this do? Just what? Limits the technical foul to what next week? Like it doesn't. It's not gonna stop anything. Luka's gonna get another tech in the next game or 3. So
it's fine.
I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
They're gonna lose today anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Well, further, but yeah, I mean, and not just that too. I think the officiating this year has been god awful. Not just
it has.
I mean, the majority of sports is a lot of bad officiating from.
Yeah, you ain't wrong.
But
exactly. The NBA's though has not. Well, we'll talk about. I mean, the NFL's a whole different story, but the NBA has not been spotless either.
So far up the ass with this fucking.
You know what? That is a good point, though. Especially you have a lot of.
Somebody's paying the refs, and might as well be Vegas.
Yeah, Vegas.
They get a bigger payout.
Well, I want to bring up while we're on officiating. I want to say something. So,
all right.
Shout out to Fred VanVleet, real quick.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
So,
screw the officiating and screw Adam Silver for
Oh,
that.
he got a
I
ref.
think he got fined. I think it was.
I was surprised that he was complaining and it actually led to a ref getting demoted. But I want to.
He called them out personally. He got on the stand.
Yeah,
I don't care.
Just imagine if
I don't care if I
LeBron
get
made
fined
that.
the bag for
No,
this.
just imagine
but
if
he-
a guy like
okay,
LeBron said that.
I'm gonna be a bit. I want to be a
There
bit
would be
biased.
multiple coaches, refs fired at that
Be a
point.
bit biased. So Chris Paul's been complaining about Scott Foster for like a
Oh
decade,
boy.
and he
I'll
has
say
not.
that, Tara, before you finish your thought, me and Tyler know Scott Foster very fucking well.
Oh
He
my god, he
screws
pissed us all
us.
too.
Like he pisses me. He pisses most of the Sixers fan base also. You're not the only one. But that's a little side note.
Yeah.
But Scott Foster, man, that dude is just fucking ruthless. Then again, Scott Foster, Tony Brothers, another one I fucking hate worth a damn. The dude's a fucking moron. I will say that. Tony Brothers is terrible. But I digress, though. I mean, like I said, the NBA, then again, though, I mean, whoever's how bad it was back in the day when you had Tim Donaghy actually betting on games, like, and before he got his ass caught. That was terrible.
And
back
first of all, if a guy like Fred VanVleet can use his power to get a ref demoted, then why don't these other players stand up to these fucking refs?
Exactly.
They
I agree.
don't get in trouble.
and he
for
got
it.
and he got fined
And
like
Fred
30
VanVleet got
days.
fined.
So you
That's
have-
what they let him off with. They didn't
Yes.
suspend him.
Okay, and it wasn't just CP3. So when we played the Lakers when they had 46 free throws, Scott Foster was the ref of that game, and
Oh,
Monty Williams in the post game was complaining about Booker getting slapped in the face and not getting the same calls and all this, and he got fined. I think it was $30K for it, but
He didn't get suspended, right?
no, he didn't get suspended. But
oh man.
get that.
Yeah, it's just like Adam Silver has not really the officiating. Just, I mean, if you just be, I don't know, like some of these. Like,
No, when it comes to suspensions, it's worse than the NBA, in my opinion.
oh yeah, no, you went wrong. It's like the suspension.
People who've done less get suspended more for people who've done more. That's how bad it is.
Well, Tiero, at least you got my boy AJ say he's Luka's a little bitch. Then again, he does act like it though, but there is an argument to be made that he does act like a little bitch sometimes.
Yeah, that Twinkie eating nonstop.
God damn it! You know what?
There's one ref that I'm really starting to hate. Sorry, if there's one ref I'm really starting to hate, it's that Laura Sago chick. Fuck, man, do I hate her
What?
guts.
What is the one Luka was simping for?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
that one.
where you pulled up the. He said, she says, "What foul? I'm fouling for you." It's like
for you.
I was like,
Fouling for
why?
you.
Well,
What
Well, I
the
think
heck?
That is
that chick I think was Ashley Moyer. She's
I
a
don't know,
hotter
but-
looking one.
I
The
don't know,
Natalie
but-
one looks like a burger. She's an I
No,
hate her.
but
wow.
he pulled a few
I-
things, beforehand. That's
She
why he
looks
got
like
all
a
those calls.
bird. What the hell kind of diss was that?
And AJ goes on to say he said that Luka's
He's
the
worse than
biggest
LeBron.
flop.
Oh wow,
Hands down.
I think it might be even actually. I think LeBron's worse with flopping as well. So I mean, I think they're both up there as top one.
Well, the reason why LeBron's look probably worse is because the man's built like a linebacker, yet he falls like a fucking
Yeah, he's-
worse.
I think
like
about
a-
this
he's
too.
built like a
Speaking of
skinny
LeBron, though, when he gets
lineman.
poked in the eye, he's like down.
He
He's down like on the ground for like 50 something, almost like to a minute. It's like
Oh,
first of all, you got poked in the
6'8"
eye for crying out loud. It don't take you that long to stay on the floor, is it? But
Yeah.
I digress. But
Yeah, it is what it is.
while we're talking, and since we did mention about the Hornets, I don't think everyone almost actually paid attention to this. Michael Jordan.
Come to the Knicks.
So Michael Jordan is actually in talks to selling of his majority stake in the Charlotte Hornets. So
Oh,
my thing on this is, I mean, about time that he's not really done really that much for that franchise. You have guys like LaMelo who cannot stay healthy worth a damn, which we'll talk about his older brother in just later in the show because I've got some thoughts. I have to get over that, but yeah, what do you guys' thoughts on that? Michael Jordan might sell in his majority stake in the Charlotte Hornets.
It's
Sayonara.
it's good. I mean, he kind of. I mean, I don't even think he's spent like even close to I think 100 million on that team or anything like that. Like he hasn't spent anything for that team. Like, and LaMelo Ball. I think he's in his third, fourth year now, and he's getting. So I mean, the guy hasn't even gotten close to the playoffs yet. So they need an owner that would actually benefit that team.
Randy?
Yeah, shit. I can't disagree with Arizona. It's not like MJ's had a proven record of being a successful owner in the sense. So, I mean, at this point, like he said, you got to get somebody in there that's willing to spend the big bucks to.
I think there's like a
try to
certain threshold that you have to spend as an NBA franchise. I don't know exactly what the ruling on that is. I mean, like a certain threshold you have to spend, because I know like we've seen like team and I mean we've seen like other sub 500 teams get, or I would say in this similar situation, but in the way not spending a lot of money. That's the Hornets, the Pistons, both the Spurs and the Rockets. I mean, both. It's just good lord.
Well, I will say though, he paid 180 million back in 2010 for this franchise, and now apparently it's worth 1.77 bill.
Hey, a good example. We got rid of our owner. We got a new
Bobcats.
a day
Oh
after
God,
that.
who was when they were the Bobcats? Good God.
Yeah.
The Charlotte Skimpies.
Hell,
The only thing that's successful about that
It's
team
all
was the
fun and
damn
jokes.
But
Really
DST, we're kind of right now. We're going to be talking. We're right now kind of our discussion on the Michael Jordan potentially giving up his majority of ownership in those Charlotte Hornets. And it's like you look at the roster that the Hornets have. LaMelo Ball, when he's healthy, is really entertaining to watch. I mean, who else I got over there? I mean, PJ Washington is actually.
Rozier,
I like Terry Rose. Scary Terry's fucking
Terry Rozier,
disgusting.
Kelly Oubre,
hey, Mark
Gordon
Williams
Hayward.
is underrated. I'll say that. But
Yeah, that is true.
I'll say
And
Kelly Oubre for me. Yeah.
Kelly Oubre. They got some good pieces, but you just, and like we all said, you have to find that one guy that actually knows to actually
don't
want to
have a
get to
superstar.
see success. But then again, like, and as Arku put it, like, what's it? Like, it's been what since it's been years. I mean, you had an opportunity to have success with Kemba Walker before he before his career kind of took a bit of a hit. And Mason Plumlee, getting Mason Plumlee was a big.
And I also want to point out, you're not going to
Dennis
get
Smith.
Steve Clifford as your head coach. You're not going to get anywhere. So
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah,
And again, though,
Lillard as well.
but I think I was going to say this too, though, especially going back to Ime Udoka. I think there could be another team that could draw some interest in Ime Udoka if you decide to move on from Clifford.
Yeah,
because I feel like Udoka enough. I mean, look at that Celtics team that when the Celtics had Udoka, they actually were really fantastic. I think Udoka can make work of what he has. Now, granted, it's going to be a tough process to really work with, but I think that team could see success with other better head coach and better management.
I forgot
Gordon
Hayward.
Hayward. Honestly, Gordon Hayward's okay, but his ass cannot stay healthy worth a damn.
no.
Yeah, he's always hurt.
Yeah, Gordon.
Like
Hayward.
he just cannot stay on the court, and it's sad though. Man, his talent is fantastic. I like watching him play, but he couldn't stay on the floor for as long. Now, since we did talk about the play-in tournament a little bit, the playoff outlook right now, as it stands right now, you have Denver and Milwaukee right now holding the number one seed in both the Eastern and the Western Conference. But as terms of the play-in, you got the Lakers and the OKC Thunder. So the winner of that will play the Denver Nuggets. Loser of that, the loser of that will have to face either the loser of Minnesota or the New Orleans. And Memphis will have to play the 7th seed, and it depends where's the outcomes. And then the rest of the matchups, you have the Phoenix Suns taking on the Clippers, both at 39 wins apiece.
Yep.
Then you have Sacramento and Golden State. And then Memphis, they're waiting on the number 7 seed. And that's just for the Western Conference. Now for the Eastern Conference, you have the play-in. You have Toronto and Chicago. Toronto at 37-38 with Chicago at 36-38.
Mm-hmm.
The winner of that will have to play Milwaukee at 53-21. The loser will have to play the loser of the 7 and 8 matchup between the Miami Heat and the Atlanta Hawks. I don't know why I said the Falcons, but I don't know why for some reason I had the Falcons all.
Both bird teams. And
They
they
both
choked
go.
out.
But yeah, then again, that's Atlanta in a nutshell. And then you have Cleveland at 48-28, taking on the number 5 New York Knicks. So you got your Knicks playing against the Cavs, their YT.
Donovan, yeah.
Now we got to play against Brooklyn, the number 6 seed, and then Boston. And then we'll have to wait and see who Boston will take on between Miami and Atlanta. So, thoughts on so far in the playoff picture?
For what? For either conference?
Yeah, for either conference, because we can have a discussion. Because especially with the playoffs around the corner, like this is a perfect opportunity to have this kind of discussion.
Mm-hmm.
I'll start off with the West because my team's in. Anyone could come out of the West.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It turned into the 2020 NFC East, but except for not below 500 records.
You got almost every team in the West dealing with at least one injury, and actually the Lakers, they just got LeBron back and they're losing already. Timberwolves, they got Karl Anthony Towns back and Anthony Edwards back, so it's actually the West is actually starting to get a bit healthier, but I'm surprised the Pelicans are tied for 8th and they don't have
Zion. Yeah.
Without Zion, they're screwed.
So I'm going to say, I feel like the Warriors could beat Sacramento, but what you have to realize is they suck on the road. And
Sacramento has the home advantage because of the higher seeds. So
statistically, Sacramento is the best offense in the NBA right now.
That's a good point too. And if you think about this too,
for Golden State lineup,
and think about Golden State too. When they didn't have Curry, look how bad they struggled without Stephen Curry or Klay Thompson. They had in in their lineup. One of those two guys, if they don't have that in their starting 5, they stink.
Clay's always hurt, and Curry's not the same as he used to be. Still,
Curry was a 30, pushing 31 with bad ankle problems since he came out of Davidson. The dude.
Jordan Poole's very inconsistent, so he's not the number one.
You got some guys that have been so in some inconsistencies, but just.
I will say though, they're really missing Andrew Wiggins. The longer that.
They are
definitely hurting them.
Yeah.
And the Clippers, Paul George is out indefinitely right now. So
jeez.
And then for my son, for my son, so far we're getting Aim back today, and we're getting KD back on Wednesday. So we're about to be fully healthy. And if we were to play the Clippers, I feel like
that'd be just being ass whooping.
I feel like with or without Paul George, we can easily beat them.
Beat them. This is what Paul George does. Even when he's white, they still play the This is what they do.
But yeah,
and then again, though, that's what happens when you're one of the worst cursed teams in the NBA.
Yeah,
because the fact you gave up pretty much the entire farm for fucking goddamn Paul George, who was okay, but then again, like I said, go back to the OKC Thunder, man. They can go anywhere if they wanted to, because like I said, that's what you had. And then again, and like I said, this is why a lot of times I love seeing the banter back and forth between Lakers and Clippers fans, because it's just funny. Then again, though, can't be worse than being a Clippers fan, because that's just a ton of that's just misery waiting to happen. Then again, it is what it is. You got
Clippers fell in love with the Paul George 1 year in OKC. They fell in love with that Paul George.
Yeah,
without realizing. Wait, what about Paul George's rest of his career? What about all the injuries and everything? No, they fell in love with that 1 year in OKC, and they were like, "That's the Paul George we're gonna have."
They fell in love with Pandemic P and running it back in the different circumstances.
Hey, you thought Kawhi was gonna play a full season with you guys?
Damn.
Hell no.
I could have told you otherwise too.
Yeah,
I'll TOP that looking back.
TOP, Bulls fan in the chat.
Oh, speaking of the Bulls, and now this is an opportunity because
go beat up Skimpy's team.
Speaking of the Bulls and Lonzo Ball, so
nothing
Lonzo
personal, Randy, but yeah.
But there's been a lot.
I don't think anything personal. It's all good.
But Lonzo Ball had his third surgery on his knee. It was likely he might miss the next season, and that's concerning.
Here's where I'm nervous about. This could be completely career threatening for Lonzo, because I think there was one other player that had the same injury. His career was fucked. Career was over.
And it's
I hate to say it, Tyler. I think it might be already over.
Yeah. I'm leaning towards that too, man. I'm leaning towards that too.
It's sad, man. The dude had
his career's over.
Yeah.
And me and talked about this before the show started. I think you also could put the blame on LeVar for and pushing because look at LaMelo. He can't stay healthy with that ankle injury.
Because they have a shitty dad who pushes them too much in one sport.
And
too much.
And there's a documentary on them. Like
you play coach instead of dad. That's the issue with LeVar.
Mm-hmm.
Plays coach instead of dad.
So real quick, I just want to So he also had Lonzo also had a cartilage transplant, and the only other player that's ever came back to the NBA after having a cartilage transplant was Jason Richardson.
Oh God.
And he didn't, and so Lonzo's about to become the second. Well, if he does come back, he's about to become the second player to ever come back after having a transplant on his knee or whatever. So, and Richardson, when he came back, because he was on my team when he came back, and he didn't do that well after having a cartilage transplant. So, real quick, that's if I'm Lonzo, I'm just choosing health over athleticism and just.
I mean, yeah. I mean, we have to do at this point.
And also,
what's it
cut
like?
off your family for a while because
I mean, yeah, he should have done.
Influencing his bad decisions as well.
Yeah, it's like I actually watched. There's a documentary of like how much these two. Well, we don't know where they. Well, the only other bar we don't never really talk about is LiAngelo. He's just been kind of forgotten. But I've seen that there's a documentary on how much these two boys have trained, and it's like Jesus Christ, and I can see why.
Dude, LeVar, I'm telling you, LeVar treats them like, and
I think
they're his players. Like he's coaching them.
And
like,
you know,
yeah, you can tell your kids if you want to play a sport, try your best at it. You know, be the best that you can be at it. But to literally just groom them to be in the league because you want them in the league, come on.
It's ridiculous because think about it. You know, I was not a huge Lonzo fan because I really never really not the or really not. I really haven't watched him, but ever since we got moved on from the Lakers, went to the Pelicans and whatnot, I thought he actually really had some, a good upside. I think he could be away from the from that. I think she could just say the distraction of the LA nightlife. I guess you could say. And with LaMelo though, it's sad, man, because you have two LaMelo and Lonzo. I think they're super talented as hell, but it's just like I said, there's LeVar. I think he pushed him way too much, and plus the fact they had a shitty shitty shoe brand called the Big Ballers brand. But for that, kind of went fucking under. But that's besides the point.
That's another thing. That was their dad's thing too. Oh, let's build this clothing brand.
Big Baller brand. What's up? What's
oh
up?
God,
Big Baller brand. Let's get it.
Yeah,
Big
when that
brand.
was like
that BBD brand, yeah.
But yeah,
it was so, and then you have them showing up on other stuff like wrestling, Monday Night Raw. LeVar's causing issues there. He's causing issues on ESPN.
I remember that.
No,
he said the N-word during the
yeah, he dropped the N-word too.
But then you're showing up on ESPN Sports Center causing issues with Stephen A. Smith. Come on, bro.
I mean, the dude's jeez.
I mean, the name stands. It says it all. Broken and beat brand. I mean, shit. I mean, they can't do nothing. They're defeated online and they're broken and beat in the NBA. So
yeah,
you gotta give it to them. At least the kids made it to the NBA. But it sucks that this is what we're gonna remember their careers for.
Yeah, it just cannot stay healthy because of that. And it's just like with the Chicago Bulls, and God bless my buddy Gooley for I think his pretty much the sand. He's been shot because it's just how the Bulls have been this season. I've seen Bulls fans, they want Billy Donovan out of the building. They pretty much want some guys out of the goddamn building. And Billy Donovan was pretty much public enemy number one for them. Yeah. As a coach, man, he's just.
Oh my gosh.
Well, we'll see about that. And speaking of a Pelicans fan, sadly. We'll see about that because
Pelican fans, are you still going to be our next rivalry?
Pelicans.
As for the Bulls, though, Robert, that Vucevic move was dumb. Like I don't.
Yeah, they're still biting the bullet on that Vucevic thing.
Yeah, Vucevic is really solid for you guys.
Yeah,
for Teal Peace Team. Yeah,
it's like the Bulls. Like the thing about it too, for a team that last year took the Bucks to five games in the playoffs last year. But yet, and just unfortunately, we've seen teams taking 180. I mean, the Bulls is one of them. You took a good team that's one of the better teams in the NBA, and the Bucks in 5 games. What in the conference finals, I think it was, or wherever it was.
What? Well, they took them to 5 games?
Um,
No, that was the
No.
first round.
that was okay. First round. I don't know why I think
That
it
was
was
first round.
but regardless, but so I mean, I say I give them credit for that. But it's just like, yeah, and seeing what the Bulls are now, oof, it's an ugly night and day. Not
Yeah.
just for the Bulls, but just for most of the teams that. I mean, I'm not going to say the same for the Celtics. Now, granted, yes, they dealt with the injury bug and some key pieces. I think Boston, it's going to be. I don't know, man. I don't know what the hell. Like it's. I don't know. I'm trying to think of the term for it. Like they just been not been. Oh, what's the word I'm looking for here? They're obviously not consistent, but after look at the different Celtics teams over the years since 2008. Like they had a hard time. I mean, look, they got back to the finals last year against the Golden State Warriors, and I just feel like that inexperience came back to bite them. And I feel like now, if they decide and if they do make that finals run again, I think that they do have the experience to, I think it could win it. I mean, it's been
That's if Robert Williams stays healthy. I really
that
feel
is
like
true.
they need
Robert
healthy
Williams.
Robert Williams.
Who else hasn't been staying healthy for the Celtics that I can't think of at the moment?
I
They
think
traded for Muscala.
I think didn't
They got Muscala. They did trade from Muscala.
isn't what's his name wearing a mask?
Yeah,
Paxton
Brown.
Pritchard.
Jaylen Brown. Yeah.
Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
yeah,
fun.
they made that move in the offseason and went and got Daniel
Malcolm Brogdon.
Gallinari, and then
And he has-
that fell through,
They also
and then
got
they had to
Brogdon
go
as
out,
well. On the
and then they also had
traded
to,
for him.
then they went out and got Blake Griffin, and that experience has not worked out at
Oh
all
my
for them.
gosh.
I mean, good Lord. Like, I think Boston fans, as much as I hate it, I know Tyler knows this better than anybody. I mean, he's already up in that area anyway, so he's got.
For the reason why the Celtics choke these big games because they don't have a defense. They're all offense more than defense nowadays. So
Yeah,
Yeah, and
why
that's how they
healthy
choke all
Robert
these
Williams.
big games.
But going for like I said, they're off. I mean, right now, Robert Williams right now is their best defender if he stayed healthy. I mean, for sure. I mean, he'd be their best defender. But outside of that, I mean, it's all offense heavy. I mean, look at the bench. I mean, they just been no.
Smart's a pretty good on-ball defender.
Yeah, they got
too.
shooters everywhere. Greg Williams, you got Paxton Pritchard, you got
Braxton Pritchard.
Yeah, you got shooters.
They got
They got some good shooters
Eric
though.
White.
but like you said YTC, they don't have no defense. That's the
It's
thing.
Houses as well.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah, take away their center and you look who's
yeah.
left.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty much an all offense team, and that's a
Yeah.
really good point on that. And I'm not trying to hate on the Celtics. Yes, I mean they're our conference rivals, sure, but you have to give them credit where they got talent where you can got to give them credit for. That's for sure. But it's just like look at last year, like you said. I mean, not having Robert Williams, that was if he had Robert Williams, I think that series going to go on a little bit differently. If he didn't have, if Robert Williams wasn't hurt, I think it was an ACL tear, if I'm not mistaken, that knocked him out, or whatever it was. But like I said, if Robert Williams stays healthy throughout the playoffs, I think the Celtics could be a different team that could potentially win it. And no, I know Arco said you want to see the Bucks to win it all, but I still don't know about the Bucks though. Without Chris Middleton, that team is that team is nothing without Chris Middleton. I will say I think Chris Middleton is one of those pieces where I think he's just one of those glue pieces, I guess you could say, in that starting five. But Chris Middleton can't stay healthy. I mean, they got some good defenders though, sure. But like I said, we've seen this Bucks team has not looked great without Chris Middleton. I mean, Randy, am I wrong here?
No, man.
No.
I understand. They go wherever Giannis takes them, but when teams can kind of clog up the middle in a sense and shut down Giannis, they need the Middletons and they need the other guys to start shooting. So you're right. Without Middleton, I have a hard time feeling like the Bucks could go all the way.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, look, the fact that Bucks won it last year, and the fact that was their first title in over 50 years was mind-boggling. I will admit that. The fact that it took them almost 50 years to win a fucking championship. Jeez, man, what the fuck damn. And I who remembers the point where when with the entire NBA fan base were just the general fans called Luka, or not Luka, but Giannis a bust in 2014 when he came into the league. I know that's kind of really, I would say, backfired. I would say, but then again, the dude's what
Got some MVPs to prove them wrong.
And what, a couple defensive player of the years under his belt too at the same time. I mean, the dude came up from nothing, when you read a story and stuff like that. But we'll see how it goes though. But
yeah, they're gonna need Rob. They're gonna need big games from guys like Jay Crowder, Joe Ingles, Grayson Allen, Bobby Portis, Pat Connington.
Oh, good Lord!
Those guys are gonna have to step
up. Hey, Jay Crowder. Hey, from experience, Jay Crowder is only good in the clutch. Other than that, he's not getting you anywhere.
How did we let Black Squidward get away from us?
Bobby Portis. Wait, Bobby Portis.
But yeah,
no, but we said because we don't like Jay Crowder and Waller. Not Waller.
Grayson Allen. The dude,
Grayson Allen, yeah.
Gonna be the
I confuse him for Grayson Allen.
Oh my gosh, I know TOP hates him.
Well, I mean, I think most of college basketball fans hate the man because the dude was just fucking dirty in college basketball during his time with Duke.
Yeah. I said TOP specifically.
He's up there on my list as well. But
well, no, we know that Dylan Brooks is now becoming very hated as well.
I swear, if Memphis gets past the first round, I hope we get Memphis. If we were to get past it, I hope we get Memphis. I would enjoy every second of that.
Oh, that's a good point. But with especially as crazy. I mean, this year has been. We've seen some teams kind of, let's say, overachieve, like the Sacramento Kings. I want to say next year, I think they're going to get I know they're going to come back down to earth, but I still think they're going to have another good year for sure. And I do feel like that Sabonis team has really not just changed their season, but in terms of, if you look at the rebounding numbers, and Randy, we saw that how bad this Kings were rebounding the basketball until before Sabonis got there.
Yeah,
It's just like, it's weird, like how some of these players, like say, like a Sabonis, who may not be the flashiest paper on paper. Yes, play for the shitty Pacers team. Let's be real. That first of all, the fact that he even extended Miles Turner was beyond me. I thought Miles Turner would have been gone already. And going through the full rebuild. We
were actually supposed to trade for him
I know you guys were a lot in deep talks with trying to. I don't know what the pack or the hypothetical package you were going to give up for Miles Turner.
It was back when DeAndre Ayton was having a bad.
Oh yeah, that entire contract debacle.
Yeah, and he was having a bad relationship with Monty Williams and all that extra stuff.
That was just ugly.
But to piggy, sorry, go ahead.
Wait, was that Randy?
What was that?
I was gonna say, just to piggyback on what you were saying about before Domantas Sabonis got there, they were horrible rebounding the ball because they were expecting like the likes of Trey Lyles and Rashawn Holmes to be that ball hawk type of rebounder, and let's keep it real, they're not those type of guys. They'll get you rebounds for sure, but not at the rate that Domantas Sabonis can do it for sure.
Marvin Bagley.
Oh yeah,
and Marvin Bagley is right. You're right. That's true.
And speaking with the Kings too, though, before we go into we have a couple of the topics to go through. It's funny looking back on the Kings. So when they moved on from who did they trade? It was Tyrese. When the Kings fans, people said,
Buddy Hield.
Yeah, Buddy Hield said, I've seen people bitch and complain, said, Tyler's trading Halliburton might have been the bad idea to do. But then again,
you can't have all these shooters and then no.
I think they realized too that Tyrese Halliburton could be better elsewhere, and I think they were taking shots away from De'Aaron Fox too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
and that became a bit of an issue. Rashawn Holmes, I think Sixers fans, we want to forget about him because he wasn't great, but
and then Rob, like you're saying, it's so then they wouldn't be able to go get guys like the Kevin Huerters or the Keegan Murrays in the draft, and then go.
Oh, absolutely.
So you know what I mean? Like that trade. I like at first we all were like scratching our heads, like wait, what? But now, absolutely win-win for both parties.
But now, I think I want to kind of go over our predictions for the end of the year awards for Coach of the Year, Rookie of the Year, MVP. Was it Most Improved Player this year? Sixth Man of the Year. Well, for me, though, I think when it comes to the Coach of the Year, for me, it's Mike Brown for the Sacramento Kings. I think he's done a really good job with that team. Oh, we'll get to that in just a minute. Because those are the couple. Well, we'll get to that because, good Lord, I want to roast this man. Then again, though, I think Stephen A. Smith kind of did. But yeah, my coach of the year is definitely Mike Brown. That's for me. Oh God, MVP. As much as I want to say Embiid, I know if Jokic or not say Jokic, but Giannis has really good games, I'm going to give it to Giannis. I think Giannis, for me, honestly, I think he's better than both Jokic and Embiid. And it's blatantly to say, look, I'm being brutally honest. I mean, you got three guys. If you looked at how this MVP race has been, it's always been down to three guys: Embiid, Jokic, Giannis. Because those guys can bring value to their respective teams. But oh God. So most improved. Trying to think who could be my candidate for that one, because that could be anybody.
I like my choice.
I'll give you mine.
Yeah, what y'all's most improved?
Jalen Brunson.
Ooh, okay.
I got Lauri Markkanen.
Yeah. What, most improved?
Yep, I got
Definitely.
Jalen.
Lauri Markkanen, you can make the argument for. Could you also make the same argument for Domantas Sabonis? I think he kind of stepped his game up since going to Sacramento.
I mean, for sure, but I think it's definitely Jalen Brunson because nobody knew where the Knicks were going to be this year. I didn't even know we were going to get this far. I thought we were going to be playing for scraps in the play-in tournament, but now we're number 5.
Brunson, he didn't get enough credit in Dallas.
No, he never did.
It was always Luka.
And as a Nova guy too, like yeah, and I mean, especially in the playoffs, so I think that's where you can see the best of Brunson because the dude.
Another candidate, even though I think it's kind of too late for him to be thrown in there, Mikal Bridges.
And then you can make. I think there's an argument to be made. Sure,
they traded him. Yeah.
Probably I'm sticking with mine. The 2021
Lauri Markkanen. Oh, definitely can make the argument for because I mean, the dude's
you could look at his record. You look at his stats from when he was with the Cavaliers from 2021, 2022. He averaged 14.8 points, 5.7 rebounds, and then you fast forward to now with him with Utah. He's at 25.3 points and 8.6 rebounds. So he's definitely improved a heck of a lot.
And there's a couple other
the Jazz doesn't have a good record though. I think.
Oh no, they're not.
This isn't about the overall.
He's a great player on a bad team. That's what it is.
Oh yeah, and I think, and there's a couple other guys I think no one's really talking about in terms of the most improved is Nicholas Claxton for the Brooklyn Nets and Tyrese Halliburton for the Indiana Pacers.
Halliburton, I could see the argument for there. I would also, I could throw in No, I think he's going to win Rookie of the Year.
I think Banchero's my Rookie of the Year winner.
I think it's
Jackson's my defensive player. My MVP is Giannis. My sixth man is
Josh Hart got traded earlier to the Knicks, he would have been up there.
My sixth man is Malcolm Brogdon. My executive this year is Kobe Altman from Cleveland. And coach of the year is Mike Brown. And my rookie of the year is Pablo Banchero from the Magic.
Yeah, Banchero.
Because for me, my executive would have been Sam Presti.
What about sixth man of the year?
Sixth man of the year. That could be. Ooh, that's an interesting conversation.
Josh Hart.
I said Brogdon.
Yeah, I think Brogdon, Hart. I mean, I know there's going to be a lot of candidates this year for 6.
No, stop. I'm pulling names.
I got
Josh Hart more. But yeah.
For my MVP, I mean
MVP. It's either Embiid
I would say.
Jokic,
Listen, I would say Embiid if he played more games.
Yeah, but I'll give it to Jokic this year again.
I mean, I'll give it to Jokic again. I feel like that's going to be the MVP again. But I would say Embiid only if he played a little bit more games because I think he's been out for a little bit sometimes. So.
And they are joshing him because he was supposed to play tonight against the
so they ruled him out.
That really hurt his chances. So
well, that's the message too. You also strained to because we're all coming off a back-to-back as well. So I mean, we're still on that road trip. So I mean, but like I said, as a Sixers fan, like I said, I can't wait to see their failure once again. But I digress. But there's been some others. I think I pulled up a thing from Linus to say, like I said, we talked about Malcolm Brogdon could be one. So Gary Trent Jr. is an option, or in terms of the betting odds, if you were betting on who's going to win Sixth Man of the Year.
Really?
So they're betting candidates. You had Emmanuel Quickley, Malcolm Brogdon, Bobby Portis, Ricky Rubio, Malik Monk, Gary Trent Jr., Austin Reeves, Norman Powell, Jordan Poole, Nowell from Minnesota, Anderson, wow, D'Anthony Melton's getting into consideration. That is surprising, but that's here nor there. Buddy Hield, Spencer Dinwiddie, Anthony Simons,
Anthony
Porchevsky.
Simons,
Oh god, I apologize, I'm butchering that. Tyus Jones, Benedict Mathurin. You have Maxey that's up there, it's plus 15,000.
there too.
Westbrook, Wood, Murphy III, Clark, Payne, Nance, Boucher, Alvarado, Johnson, Schroeder, Gordon, Herder.
Chris Boucher, what?
Huh?
In terms of if that's the betting odds, so he's at plus 50. Boucher's at plus 15,000 to win 6th man of the year.
Oh,
But
yeah,
but I do feel like it's definitely going to go to Malcolm Brogdon for sure.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if you looked at how Malcolm Brogdon has played since going to the Boston, like he really has changed that bench a little bit too for the Boston Celtics. Oh yeah, speaking of the low management, that's just funny. Just how much Charles Barkley was just, or is it? It might have been Charles Barkley roasting the load management bullshit.
Yeah, it was Barkley and somebody else, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew when we got Kevin Durant, Charles Barkley was going to be all over our asses about.
Oh yeah. But speaking of, since my boy Sports PSP brought that up, one of the speaking in this last two before we get up out of here. First thing was Ben Simmons and his agency Clutch Sports parted ways. To be quite honest, they should have done that a long time ago because for the love of God, let's be real. Before we traded his ass, we were biting the bullet. We were biting the bullet badly on his contract. The same with in Harris, but that's a whole nother situation. But Clutch Sports they have I think this reputation where they just don't do well of representing the players that they have, and it looks really bad.
Yes.
And the fact that we saw this, it's like now you wanted to part ways after that. I mean, I don't get it.
I don't. Oh my gosh.
Probably never will.
Not for the rest of the year too.
Oh yeah, and the dude just needs to just retire at this point. If you're just going to be just sitting on your ass playing fucking Call of Duty, be that Kyler Murray type of person, just get the hell out of the league.
Hey.
I'm just saying. Hey, look, I'm sorry. No offense to Kyler Murray, but he's got to have that Kyler Murray kind of comparison. But I digress. But I mean, it's like, oh geez, like man, me and Tyler know this better than anybody. Like how much of a fucking headache this man has given us. And yet, and we're seeing, and when we trade, it's like, and Nets fans were always fucking chirping. It's like, oh, we won the trade. When we see Harden like dropping like 30 points, like the last in his first 4 or 5 games, and Ben Simmons has not done dropped 7, only getting like averaging almost like 4 or 5 personal fouls. Like, geez, talk about you, man. And obviously, it really did look like we won the trade on that. But it's like, and it's funny because
also too, you're missing one crucial thing. The fact that he's always faking back injuries.
Oh, yeah.
He is faking back injuries left and right.
Yeah, Ben Simmons.
And that's why he's out, too, for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Did you guys give up any picks in that trade?
Wait, what is that?
When you made that trade, did you have to give up any picks to?
We had to give up a couple picks with Curry, Seth Curry, and Andre Drummond, unfortunately.
Brother? All right.
We basically depleted our
Yeah,
unfortunately. We were depleted after that because we traded a crucial piece of our bench, which was Drummond, and then
why did you trade away Seth Curry? He was cooking for you guys.
So basically,
that's the part that hurt.
You don't know who won that trade until those draft picks are made.
Wardell's brother away.
Yeah, but like I said, for me,
that was going crazy for us that first half of the season. We were like, what?
Wardell's brother.
We were like, what, Rob? We were like, what? Number 1 in the East.
I think so. When we had both Drummond and Curry, the only issue was like we just didn't have. I wouldn't say just have a defense, but it's just like we had no shooting supporting cast around them. I would say, but if we look at the team that we have now in terms of with the Sixers, if we still had Curry and Drummond, I think this team could have been a whole lot different. But then again, it all had to be all about fucking Ben Simmons and him acting like a spoiled little bastard.
And remember, they also wanted to trust the process. According
that's kind of biting. And that bit, well,
the only player from the process to make the NBA Finals, Dario Saric.
Oh,
yeah.
That should tell you that the process was a fail.
It was a flop to be
a fail.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. And whenever, like I said, we have not really been. Yeah, like I said, I could care less. But then again, though, and obviously, Sports BSP asks, "What's next for Simmons and the Brooklyn Nets?" For me, just fucking retire when you had the chance.
Retire.
Because think about it, because it's funny because speaking with Ben Simmons, though, I actually did a video about this over a year ago or a couple of years ago.
All right, I'll see you guys.
Talking about that, Jonathan Givney, for those who don't know, he's kind of like a draft analyst for ESPN. And the fact that he brought up a scouting report. Oh, it's. I think YTC kind of exit out, but before.
See you later.
He said two. Oh, yeah.
All right. But yeah, so but like I said, the last final thing was that when he brought up the scouting report on Ben Simmons, and this was in 2016, by the way, in that same draft class with I think Brandon Ingram. You also had actually who else? Actually, I can look at that. I can't remember that draft class with the life of me, even though kind of really hate to say it, but
The Ben Simmons draft
yeah, that was 2016.
had Brandon Ingram, Jamal Murray, I think.
Oh Jesus, fuck! Like you could have.
You had
Jaylen Brown. What the fuck? Pascal Siakam was part of this trade, motherfucker. God damn.
Remember the two drafts that we whiffed on, Rob. 2016, 2017.
Jason
we could have gotten Jaylen Brown, and we could have gotten Jason Tatum.
But no,
we could have been the two to have that tandem.
Exactly.
We could have been the team that had that tandem.
Sabonis was in that 2016 draft.
Yes, Sabonis too.
Hey, listen. At least you guys didn't in 2016. At least you didn't take Dragan fucking Bender.
I forgot about that. Oh, that was
Arizona. I was just gonna say, I'm like, the draft goes as follows: Ben Simmons, Brandon Ingram, Jaylen Brown, Dragan Bender, Chris Dunn, Buddy Hield, Jamal Murray, Marquise Chris, Jakob Poeltl, Thon Maker, Domantas Sabonis, Turion Prince. I can't see this gentleman's name.
Papagiannis.
Again, and you guys went and got a Papagiannis, Denzel Valentine, Juancho Herman Gomez.
Oh, Pascal. Pascal was in this draft?
He was. Caris LeVert. And DeJounte Murray was.
We had 2 first-round picks that year, and we took Jakob Poeltl and we took Pascal. And that's why they're so. That's why they like each other so much, because they were drafted the same day.
Oh yeah, don't remind me. Fuck Brett Brown for that bullshit.
Thank you.
On draft night for Zaire fucking Smith.
Thank you.
And Zaire Smith was a bust.
And he's doing whatever don't know what the fuck he's going on.
Brogdon was a 2nd-round pick that year. He was taken by Milwaukee with a 36.
Zubac was actually took by the Lakers.
Wow.
Let's see. Who does? Georges Niang was a 2nd-rounder. He's decent for what he is now.
If you just want a shooter.
Yeah. I mean,
let me look at 2017.
2017, Markelle Fultz, Lonzo Ball, Jason Tatum.
Fuck!
Oh my God, we took Josh Isaac. Oh my fucking.
Lauri Markkanen, Frank Nikita, Dennis Smith, Zach Collins, Malik Monk, Luke Kennard, Donovan Mitchell, Bam Adebayo, Justin Jackson.
Yo, we could have had De'Aaron Fox, and we chose Josh Jackson.
Yeah, I think a lot of Sixers fans want to forget about that 2016 and 2017 without we both. And then again, same kid. I think Frank Ntilikina. God, I mean, I kind of feel bad for the guy. Actually, just never really, just kind of feel like he's just been floundering in this league. I mean, John Collins was in the 2017 draft. He went to the Hawks. OG Anunoby. And goddamn, I'm kind of jealous of your Raptors, basically, because you don't actually know how to draft some stars.
Damn it, and here's the thing. They even won a championship before we did.
Yeah, that's sad.
Again.
Bro,
that is sad. On a lucky shot by Kawhi, might I add it.
Hey, real quick, if there's any Suns fans in here, if you guys want to wonder why we trade away all of our draft picks, just look at Dragan Bender and Josh Jackson and then come back.
The dude had a really good name. A really good name, but just never really panned out. But outside of that, I think another one sad story of an NBA player just really never lived up to his potential. How about Campbell Swanigan from Purdue?
I'll throw 2018 in there too. We took DeAndre Ayton over Luka, Trae Young, Jaren Jackson.
Oh yeah, that's
if you guys wonder why we trade all of our draft picks, look no further than our past draft picks that we made.
And but yeah. You ain't wrong, Arku. But yeah, so with that said, that's going to do it for the episode 1 of Beyond the Arc podcast, because that was actually kind of fun. Got a lot of stuff out of the way, especially with the NBA season coming around the close. But yeah, we'll do a lot more for next NBA season, because there's going to be a lot of stuff to talk about. Because I think it's going to be, because I know there's really haven't been not much any NBA news. Because, like I said, the season's kind of dying down. Most people are getting ready for baseball season or spring football, whatever you're into, that kind of thing.
Not me.
But shout out to YTC and Randy coming on as well. Shout out to the rest of y'all coming on as well. Well, with that being said, though, like I said, NBA season has been kind of interesting for a lot of teams. Others not so much. Well, we'll see. Got to see what 2024 holds up, especially if you're a Thunder fan and stuff like that. Yeah, Arku. Unfortunately, we had to fucking deal with the DeGrom. Unfortunately, god damn it. But that's a whole other story for another day. But with that being said, I'll see you guys later.
Peace.
Later.